Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be going over the MLB early slate on DraftKings. There is a 5-game early slate today, which I will be covering first, and then later on I'll be making a video on the main slate. But for now, we're going to be looking at the early slate. Like I said, 5 games, 2 games at 1 o'clock, a game at 2 o'clock, a game at 3, and then a game at 4. So we're going to do like we always do, go through the pitcher-player pool, talk about some of the pitchers that I'll be looking at today on this early slate. We will talk about some hitters I like, and then towards the end of the video, we'll cover some stacks and BVP plays for those of you that are interested in BVP. Just before we do get started, guys, I would appreciate it if you would drop a like on the video, and if you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. I would really appreciate it. You're going to want to make sure you're subscribed so that way you won't miss out on any of my new videos. Starting off at the top of the pitcher-player pool, for this early slate, Masahiro Tanaka is our most expensive pitcher, and he's 9,700 against the Diamondbacks. I don't have a problem with Tanaka here, especially because it's a bit of a shorter slate, only 5 games. But if I'm making one lineup today, I think I would rather play Carlos Rodon, who is $300 cheaper. I really like Rodon in this spot against the Orioles. It's such a good matchup. This Orioles team been getting killed just all year by pretty talented pitchers. Talented pitchers have had a lot of success against the Orioles. It's an Orioles team that does strike out quite a bit, so I really like Rodon here. Low implied run total as well for the Orioles, just a 3.8 implied run total. Only concern is that there is a little bit of weather, projected to have 47% precipitation, so that's something we're going to have to keep an eye on. If the weather's bad, we might have to pivot to Tanaka, but for now, assuming this game plays with no problems, really like Carlos Rodon here, and he's definitely my favorite pitcher on this early slate to pay up for. And then finding a guy to pair with him, I think Merrill Kelly at 7,400 makes a lot of sense here in a home matchup with the Yankees. Now, the Yankees are usually a team I do not like to pick on, but so far, or at least as of late, they haven't been the same offensive team, and for good reason. They don't have Aaron Judge, they don't have Giancarlo Stanton, they don't have Miguel Andujar. It's just not the same lineup. You look at this lineup, especially towards the bottom, just not a lot of good hitters. Giovanni Urshela, Tyler Wade, the pitcher's going to be in the lineup since they're playing in the NL. Mike Tauchman's been actually pretty good this year, but still, career-wise, has not been that great of a hitter. The only guys I'm really worried about are the top of the lineup, like the 1 through 4, maybe the 1 through 5. Well, Torres is a pretty good hitter, but the 1 through 5, I think, is the only problem that Kelly could get in here. If he can get through the 1 through 5, he can definitely have a lot of success against this Yankees lineup. And if you just look at some of the other pitchers on this slate and their spots, pretty scary, like Shelby Miller against the Pirates just could absolutely get blown up. Tyon in that same game could have a lot of trouble. Both teams have over 5 implied run total in that game. David Hess, no way I'm playing him, even against the White Sox, a team that does strike out quite a bit. David Hess just not a good pitcher. Mike Fiers against Boston, I'll definitely be looking to shy away there. Hector Velasquez against the Athletics. Velasquez probably doesn't pitch deep enough into this game to be worth that $6,200 price tag. And then Jake Junis at $7,800 would be the only guy that I would consider playing over Merrill Kelly, but that's a tough matchup for Junis, facing that really good Rays team. I don't really like Junis today, so I think Kelly does stand out as a cheaper SP2 that you can pair with Rodon. He is a little bit cheaper than Junis, and if you play Rodon and Kelly together, that still leaves you almost $4,200 remaining per player, which you can easily work around on this slate. So let's talk about some bats. Going over pitching real quickly, talking about all the other pitchers on this slate. Like I said, I don't really have a lot of interest in any other pitchers. Really like paying up for Rodon or Tanaka, whichever one you prefer. I prefer Rodon. At SB2, I'm going to be playing a lot of Kelly. I think he's the guy that really stands out. I might throw a little bit of Junis in there, but I won't be playing much of him. And maybe I'll have like 5% David Hess or 10% Hess, just because the other pitching options on the slate are pretty gross. But Rodon and Kelly, I expect to be the 2 guys that carry a lot of my ownership at pitcher today. But now let's talk about some hitters. So assuming this Pirates and Rangers game plays, it is expected to have a lot of rain, 43% precipitation. That's another game we're going to have to keep an eye on for weather or potential weather. Assuming this game plays, I do like both sides of this game, preferably the Pirates. They have a 5.5 implied run total versus Shelby Miller, who is just an absolute terrible pitcher. Really like some of these Pirates bats. The 2 guys that really stand out to me are Adam Frazier and Gregory Polanco. At second base, Frazier is only $4K on DraftKings. He definitely stands out, getting the platoon split against Miller. A pitcher that really struggles to lefties, gives up a lot of home runs, is just not a good pitcher. Frazier's not like a really good power hitter, but batting at the top of the lineup, he should probably get at least 4, maybe even 5 at bats. He's only 4K. He's leading off for a team with a 5.5 implied run total. Really like Adam Frazier today. If you're stacking the Pirates, he makes a lot of sense. If you're playing cash games, you could definitely play Adam Frazier. Gregor Polanco, I think, is definitely like the higher upside play. He's only 300 more in the outfield. Really like him here as well. A guy that does have quite a bit of power, unlike Frazier. Polanco could definitely go yard here against Shelby Miller. Like I said, just really bad pitcher, really good hitter's park as well. A lot to like here from the Pirates side. So I'll be going right back to these Pirates bats again today. I really like them on the early slate. And then I do like some White Sox bats versus David Hess. David Hess is just a terrible pitcher. He's a guy that I stack against almost every time he pitches. Yoan Moncada at 5,100, even though he's expensive, really stands out at third base. Such a good matchup for Moncada. Facing a pitcher like David Hess that's not going to get strikeouts, that's going to pitch to contact. Moncada has not been striking out as much this year, which is something we love to see when we roster him. He's shown a lot of power as well, 6 home runs already this year. The batting average is high, which shows you he's putting the ball in play. He's not striking out as much. And versus right-handed pitching, that's where Moncada really does his damage. Love him here. I think he has a lot of upside. Home run upside. If he gets on base, he can steal bases as well. Moncada, one of my favorite spin-up options on this slate. Even though he's over 5K, I think he's worth the price tag today. So these are my 5 plays for the DraftKings early slate. No Yahoo because Yahoo doesn't do early slates, so just looking at DK today. And now let's talk about some stacks. We'll look at BVP as well before we end the video. So my favorite stack, it's definitely the Pirates versus Shelby Miller. I'm going to be loading up on Pirates bats today. Some of these White Sox as well versus David Hess I think are very good plays. Pirates and White Sox definitely stand out. Red Sox as well versus Mike Fiers. I do like the Red Sox quite a bit. They'll probably be third for me, especially because they are very expensive and it's tough to fit them in. But I will be stacking up the Red Sox in a few of my lineups. But when you just look at the pricing for these Pirates bats, like all these guys are really cheap. It's really easy to stack them and play the pitching you want. Same can kind of be said for the White Sox. Like they got some cheap bats in there. Alonso 4,100, Nicky Delmonico 3,700, Wellington Castillo 3,600. I like going there as well. But that's probably it for stacks today for the teams I'll be looking to stack up. Now let's quickly go over some BVP before we do end the video. So there's 3 guys that have BVP on this early slate. JD Martinez, really good BVP versus Mike Fiers, 5 for 11 with 2 home runs. Starling Marte, 7 for 18 versus Shelby Miller. And Adam Jones gone 12 for 32 with 3 home runs off of Masahiro Tanaka. So those are all the BVP plays I got for this early slate. I think that is it for the video, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy this video. Hopefully it helped you. If you did enjoy, just make sure you click that like button down below. I would really appreciate it. If you have not subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe as well. It would definitely help me out. You're going to want to make sure you're subscribed so that way you won't miss out on any videos. And also, if you do have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comment section below. Or you can always hit me up on Twitter at the DFS_GOAT. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. I do really appreciate it. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and we will see you in the next one. Good luck tonight. Peace.